was the right place, right time. What was really interesting about TikTok is it showed early on real life. It got into your house, whereas Instagram early on was trying to portray your most perfect self. And now all of a sudden you have Charlie has that girl next door look, who's dancing, doesn't have a care in the world, and is smiling.
The D'Amelio family quickly rose to the top of TikTok. 5 years later, Heidi and Mark D'Amelio still find it hard to believe how fast their family shot to fame.
Dixie and Charlie and I have a billboard on Sunset, and every time we drive by, I'm like, what happened to our life? This is insane. And we do photo shoots here.
So sometimes we'll have 30, 40 people in here.
This is a far cry from the life pre-TikTok in suburban Connecticut. Mark, a business owner and former Republican state Senate candidate. Heidi, a photographer and former model. Very soon after joining TikTok, Charlie was signed to a talent agency, along with the rest of her family, including big sister Dixie, who's also popular on the app.
Charlie's first video went viral in July, and then after that, she and Dixie were gaining 1 million followers a day.
And Hollywood came knocking for the D'Amelios.
Looking back on these past 4 years, just how big has the D'Amelio brand gotten in this time?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten pretty big. It's manageable though. Like from D'Amelio Footwear, we have a snack company that we were fortunate enough to launch with the biggest retailer in the world, in Walmart.
Thanks to TikTok, Marquay Collins is living the American dream.
So I'm at 6.6 million on TikTok.
6.6 million.
Let me go to Carvana. They got everything.
From video views to brand deals, this college dropout is bringing home 6 figures.
Cook for your mom, I bet.
In Washington, the countdown to TikTok's potential demise is already underway. Congress passed a law, and President Biden signed it.
The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Saying TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has 1 year to either sell the app or be banned in the US. In the most basic form, it all comes down to one thing: China.
What they care about is seeming tough on China or restricting people.
There's a mutual paranoia that has brought us to this almost comical point in which the two greatest powers on earth are vying over a teenage video app.
And yet, this is one of the few things Democrats and Republicans in D.C. can agree on. Is this a ban?
No, it's not a ban, it's a regulation. It'd be like calling a speed limit a driving ban. What we're saying is you can't conduct espionage on a social media platform.
You say not China specifically. Congressman, is this not a slippery slope?
No, foreign adversaries. North Korea, China, Iran, Russia.
I think it's important to recognize we're actually doing this to protect the privacy of Americans. People feel like they're taking their rights away, but it's actually protecting their privacy.
But many Americans are not buying that argument.
If TikTok does cease to exist, who loses?
I think everyone loses. I think small business loses. I think the politicians lose also.
It does feel odd that the U.S. government is saying we have secret reasons to ban this massive media enterprise in this country. That is not American. We should be able to say, hey, look, here's our evidence.
The looming possibility of a ban, setting the stage for the showdown of the digital generation. How do national security and freedom of speech coexist in the age of social media?
You're taking away a resource for a generation.
You're taking the resources for all generations. Wow, yeah. And I don't think no one realized that.
In the United States, between 150 and 170 million people are active on TikTok, about half our country's total population, and 80% of them are under the age of 34. From the hype houses churning out young viral sensations, to the middle-aged adults reinventing themselves, some say TikTok is redefining success.
You could just be a mom or a chef or a bus driver or just dancing at home, like a kid that could just go on there, post one video, and then you wake up and become a mega star.
How are you selling this to the American people? Because they don't seem to be on the same page.
They don't realize they're actually being manipulated by a foreign adversary.
What evidence have you guys actually seen that this is a threat to national security?
I can't get into the classified information.
Is there concrete evidence that we can point to that says that nefarious activity is going on?
Yes, a lot of it is classified, and that's why, in part, I have asked the intelligence community to do whatever it can to continue to unclassify this information so that more people can see it.
Even though TikTok is headquartered in Singapore, its parent company ByteDance is a Chinese company.
It's a private enterprise. Most of its investors are international investors, not Chinese.
For years, the FBI has been warning of possible security risks from TikTok. U.S. officials say the Chinese government could hypothetically gain access to Americans' data through the app. What do you say to Americans who see this as a generational divide between Congress and your constituency, that 170 million Americans are on this app, so many of them actually make a living off of TikTok, and you guys are almost just missing the mark with this platform?
He's calling us old, I think. Go ahead.
There is information that says for the age group 30 and under, there are many groups that their #1 search for news is on TikTok.
10 out of 10 must try again.
For Mark Way and so many others of his generation, right now, the social media experience begins and ends with TikTok. What's getting lost in the sauce of the dialogue?
America really runs on TikTok. This is literally a way to communicate and make a connection with everyone in the world. So I can be in rooms that I'll never be in. It's just crazy how the app made it so easy and so accessible to everyone in the world.
You're saying it made the world smaller.
It made the world reachable to everyone at their fingertips.
Our thanks to Ashin. You can see the entire episode of Impact by Nightline, The Death of TikTok, now streaming on Hulu.